Welcome.
Shalom.
Hallelujah.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay, let's get started. The Wicked Part 2.
What aspects of Antichrist do we have to overcome in ourselves? None are righteous, no, not one. As we look through the days of awe, let us reflect, seeing wickedness we need to overcome and the mirror we need to look in. Why all this background about the heathens and the hecklers? Well, in short, they designed the Antichrist in all of us to ruin our souls that make up our mind and our will and our emotions. Face it, we're all just broken people. We were all born into sin, and that's just our nature. You see, this is all done by design, and I can't stress that enough. This is all by design, as Satan has walked this world, earth, seeking whom he may devour. To fill this earth with narcissists, lovers of self, kings and queens of drama. It is fulfillment of prophecy. Have you ever thought of that before? This weapon of mind control has taken this long to work. Public schools were not mom and dad did not know how to deal with the designs of subtle mind control. The Illuminati has created the ruin of children using this modern life, a life of stress, too many hours away from the family that we're supposed to love and nurture and cherish. Absence is in itself abuse. As young adults, we were told we have to be professionals. Children's hearts were broken as we left them for work every day. So we, as parents, in the act of going to work, neglected our children, or we overindulged them because we were away. Adults neglected and adults indulged. Either way, the love and nurture from others was and is missing. Satan, through the movers and shakers, have pushed humanity's pendulum way too far from center. Why? For our eternal destruction. This is not a guilt trip. This is how evil has been perpetrated upon us. Kind of like we're sitting ducks. What was created to collapse our society? The love of many waxing cold. The inability to trust from a caring heart. The word is narcissist, or if you would be more inclined to say, a Jezebel. They are one and the same, men and women. For this presentation, I am going to use the term narcissist. This is a character of Antichrist. There are many Antichrists in the world. Let's make sure we are not one of them. What we see in the world, in our homes, believers and leaders, is this personality. A narcissist or Jezebel are selfish, self-absorbed, critical, angry, hurt, a bully, unable to effectively communicate to see the opposite side. They can fight with a fence post. Justify any selfish thing, even being a workaholic. Constantly seeking attention, good or bad, and neglecting those who desperately want their love. They think of themselves as a cut above the rest. They are entitled to only the best. They see themselves as smarter than almost everyone. Yet they think of themselves as belittled and mistreated. This is double-minded thinking at its best. They see themselves as special, and for some reason they feel you owe them. You owe them your time, your money, your energy, and your silence. Just sit there and listen. Just keep your mouth shut, and I'll do all the thinking and talking around here. But at the same time, they accuse you of being stupid because you don't talk. A narcissist lives a double-minded world, and they create and others suffer through. They might be described as the beautiful people of the world. The world loves them, and they will let you know. Grovel at my feet. I'm so special. Have you lived with someone like that, where whatever you say or do is wrong? I want you to know who they are for your own safety and peace of mind. We see this in politicians as well as those in our family or coworkers. For the most part, they have an abundance of of excuses towards their family and their friends. For familiarity breeds contempt, and they hold a lot of contempt. Have you ever just wanted to iron things out, but all you get in return is their contempt? Like you are really imposing upon them. You don't want to cause a contention, but you just want to be clearer and understand. But they in turn turn around and turn around on you like you want to fight. This is a narcissist behavior. They are the kings and queens of drama and manipulation. It is easier for a narcissist to suggest, you do the project, so I can blame you if anything goes wrong, while you sit there and undermine and scrutinize everything you do, especially parenting or a joint project. They are predictable. They have hard and fast patterns. This is a predictable for narcissists. And why does it matter? Because you need to stay out of their games. One thing you can say about a narcissist with a great deal of confidence is they like to think of themselves as quite special. We hate to pop their bubble, but their specialness is not as unique as they think they are. They see themselves as extra special, extra gifted in the way they see things where no one else does. They need constant attention, good or bad. The picture in the right upper corner says me, myself, and I, and that's how they think all day, 24 hours a day. That is why they don't have to blend with everybody else. They feel they can call the shots because they say to themselves, I'm unique, I'm better, I'm above the ordinary person, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful. One thing you know about a narcissist is that they have patterns. And we've talked about this in part 1. There's always patterns. It is on a spectrum level. Some have wide, some have narrow spectrums. Some have fewer ingredients to their patterns, and some have more. But either way, these are patterns. They're persistent and predictable. They will be offended with this assessment of who they are, but it's true. Most of us can see right through their false self given time and give us the words that speak what we are discerning as to who they are and how they view themselves as. Which is glamorous, bright, smart, wise, or should we just say sneaky? The trouble is we don't know their wickedness. We don't know their capabilities of evil, and their evil is so subtle. But the truth about their personalities is how they respond to life are predictable, and you need to take note for yourself. Scripture declares them evil, not me. Scripture declares them evil. Why? They're dangerous. This type of a person is a spirit of Antichrist, for there are many Antichrists in the world today. For if possible, Antichrist will deceive the very elect. And they do. We marry them all the time. They come to steal, kill, and destroy our very soul. The world loves them. Don't love the world or the things that are in the world. Wealth, glamour, prestige, power, being right. Phrases you can hear to identify a narcissist are as follows. One predictable belief they have of themselves is that they are smarter than you. And they are not shy about letting you know about it. They know more than you do. It doesn't matter what the subject is. They know more than you do on any subject. That's a fact. They are know-it-alls. So they think. And when you see this in a person, know this is what you're dealing with and stay away from them. The two most dangerous words they can speak is, I know. This makes them nearly impossible to get along with, and they will always have the right answer. And they, being the geniuses that they are, will not back off of their stance. And then when they think they're in love with you, ho, watch out. They use what is called love bombing. 10 signs to love bombing are over the top love. When you first meet someone, being swept off your feet feels fun and exciting. It happens when someone overwhelms you with loving words, actions, and behaviors as a manipulative technique. Never-ending compliments, excessive communication, hours on the phone. They need your constant attention. They claim you are their soulmate. They are demanding commitment that seems too fast for you. They are disrespecting of your boundaries. They have a lot of neediness. They play the victim, the martyr. Some threaten suicide, other overwhelming intensity, uneasiness. It happens too fast. You're feeling yourself being taken away. They start taking over your life. And so at some level, they want you to mirror who they are. They are perfect, and you need to comply, being just like them. They have many different control tactics. Some of their control tactics are the outward variety, telling people what to do, or the more passive variety, like being stubborn, dismissive. But in their controls, these individuals can be very insensitive. They can be very intimidating, and they can be vindictive, overwhelming, not cooperative. It is their way of saying, no one tells me what to do. I call the shots around here. My way or the highway. This is a highly predictive narcissist pattern. They blame and blame and blame some more. These individuals cannot take a look at themselves and say, I need to examine what might be going on inside of me. They can't do it. They won't do it. If there's a difficulty, they're thinking, it can't possibly be me. Oh, so you are the problem. That's it. It's you. You are the reason we're having this difficulty. They are constantly pointing their finger at other people as to why they are making life miserable for them. It is a conspiracy. It could not have anything to do with their miscalculations of their insensitivity. It was Elijah who troubled Israel. Not that Ahab had anything to do with the situation. See how this was worked out in the past with the Christians and Nero? It was the Christians who caused Rome to burn after Nero set it on fire, don't you see? They are the accusers, and you are to blame. See the character of their father, Satan. Narcissists are not honest. First of all, they're not honest with themselves. Keep in mind that these type of people learn early in life. In order to get along, in order to succeed, they had to build and construct what is called a false self. They put on a mask and they try to be something they're not. As a result, they are fake, not honest with themselves or anyone else for that matter. They become secret keepers. There's all kinds of things about themselves that they do not disclose. Their lives are a lot of disclosure, who they really are. Narcissists really have a string of affairs or marriages that just don't work. They are not usually faithful, but you, the spouse, you have to be. Their standard is not a two-way street. Can't you see you're the lucky one they married? They want children, but are not responsible to raise them. That's what you're for. You will be both mother and father to your children. They will have you doing everything. You will be so overcome with responsibility, so overwhelmed, you can't see straight. It's called gaslighting. Our governments do it too. Remember when President Trump read a copy from the poem The Snake? He implies that he was the snake that bites the silly woman. Narcissists see their wives or their husbands as silly and not very bright people. They wonder, can't you see what I'm all about? I'll keep on biting you as long as you let me. It's called destroying our standards. Narcissists hate rules and boundaries that are binding if it comes from anyone but them. The world of narcissists is a world of double standards. It might be binding to you, but not to them. Narcissists can be ridiculously and illogically defensive. If, that's a big word, if you could, but you can't, if you could go to a narcissist and say, would you mind looking at this situation from this point of view? That's a very simple, easy request, right? Their reaction is, what are you doing talking to me this way? You reassure them. You just want to talk it out and look at something from a different point of view. A narcissist cannot say, well, you make a good point, or thanks for your input, or I was wrong. They cannot say those words. Or can you help me understand? It just doesn't happen. Their defenses are so high, so very high, and they're very thin-skinned. Watch out when you're around them. They have to justify and rationalize and then go back to blaming you for this and that. It's called the boomerang communication. They take anything you say of a constructive nature and throw it right back at you. They blame when there's no reason to blame. They honestly believe that the good life principles that apply to you don't apply to them. Have you heard the phrase, if you want to be understood, show understanding? Their response to the phrase is, if you want to, okay, but I don't want to do that. Another phrase is, to get a friend, you must be a friend. Or do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or listen before you speak. No, they like to live out the phrase, do unto others before they do it unto you. All these phrases we have been taught, they will respond to with a, it doesn't apply to me. You losers out there, you may think in those terms, but those principles do not apply to me because, you see, I'm unique. Another pattern that is consistently, mismanaged is anger. They have you walking on eggshells. This is more gaslighting. It is a form of mind control that makes one think they're going crazy. This is huge in the life of a narcissist. They want you off balance. So let's look at it more closely. It is the form of manipulation. They make you believe something's true when it's not. It's abuse, known as confusion. How does the New World System come about? Confusion, abuse, chaos. See how this works? Remember our colonel back in part 1, AD 1200? He got his soldiers to mind his commands. The more doubt and confusion, the more power they have to write the story, be in control of you and the situation. It is a form of passive-aggressive behavior. They will have you not knowing what foot to stand on because neither one of them are acceptable to them. This is what the government of the world are doing to us. See how effective it is? The passive-aggressive behavior is the most dangerous of all narcissistic behaviors. Narcissists use it on a person-to-person level. Governments use it on a person-to-person level, as they have power to arrest you and put you in prison. It is at this point that violence or murder is common. Our governments have FEMA camps, vaccinations, violence. And don't forget the Georgia Guidestones, where they want to murder nearly 7 billion people. A narcissist does not have the ability to work it out. They're ready to chuck it in because they can't get their way by any other means. They are fatalists. In a marriage, they don't want to talk it out. They think and say, it's It's over. Go ahead. And go just like that. Narcissists are also actors. They put on an act 24/7. It wears them out. They may come home and be totally worn out from acting all day. They are not told, are we not told in Daniel that the Antichrist will come in by using flattery? If you should discover their false self, you better keep it to yourself. If you should voice this discovery, you've just become their worst enemy. They live in this false self of being who they imagine or program themselves to be. And if you disturb their mind in this false narrative, their wrath is upon you. Not for a day, but for the rest of your life. Your discovery is a cardinal sin. From this point, some will even plan your death. That is how deep their hate goes. You are the problem, and you need to be eliminated. Common phrase of narcissists use when they are gaslighting you. Keep in mind, governments use this too. A narcissist will pit both sides against each other in order to achieve a different outcome. This is a pattern. Hitler's Germany used this effectively. It's the Hegelian dialect. The left versus the right, synthesis versus antithesis, and gets synthesis. And we get the New World System. Red flags. A red flag and a bull, you know what the rest is right? These should be red flags that wave at you to wake you up to what's going on. When you spot the following sayings, you can stay out of their clutches. The narcissist will come to you and say, you know, we just don't communicate. You can have a history with this person where you've tried until you're blue in the face trying to communicate with them, but it never goes well. It will end up with a lot of arguing and/or a lot of silence in the aftermath. This opens the door for the narcissist to come into you and say, we just do not communicate. That is a false statement. There is no such thing as no communication. I could go 2 weeks without speaking a word to you, but that is communication for sure. When the narcissist says, you are not communicating, what they're really saying is, I don't like what you say. I don't like how you said it. Or, I don't like what you are wanting from me. They cannot think in terms of slowing down and speaking into the needs of another person. They can't do it. They won't do it. They are totally a stiff-necked person. And that is why relationships don't work out. They are not going to be broken, melted, molded, and used. What they are saying is, you're a nuisance, and you're getting in my way, and I don't like it. Every time I try to be in control, you come back and saying, I want to understand. The narcissist is saying, you are taking me out of control, so we are not communicating, period. Many times the narcissist is really saying, just be quiet and listen to me and all will be well. They are control freaks. They don't want your input. They do not want to hear what you have to say. They will do all the talking and you do all the listening. I had the very thing happen to me from a pastor. Be quiet and listen to what I say and you'll be just fine. Bingo. That's a narcissist. I wish I would have had this knowledge 20 years when I was a little over 20 years old. A narcissist can say in gaslighting, if I did anything wrong, I'm sorry. Or, please forgive me if I've made some mistakes. What's going on here? You know they don't mean it. They never follow through with their apology. There is no change. It's so out of character for them to be humble. The statements are vague, and it is putting the focus back on you. That's what's going on here. The I am sorry if I've done anything wrong is saying, you have not interpreted me very well. Like if they screamed at someone and you thought it was uncalled for, You are interpreting their behavior as if they were wrong to do that. They view it as being misunderstood because, of course, the narcissist is always correct in their judgment. That makes you feel like this is not resolved, and you are left in confusion. Ah, but that's the plan. They always want you in confusion. The delusion is so stealth, so subtle, so mind-blowing. You reason, can it really be this bad? And the answer is, oh yes, it can. Another phrase is, you just won't let go of the past. Well, let's say that's a true statement. You were angry and you shouted loudly. Their statement will sound like this. How many times do you have to talk about this? Why do you keep going over the same stuff over and over again? What the narcissist is saying is, I don't like what you have to hash this out again. What the spouse is trying to say is, I'm trying to get a handle on what we've been through. Can we just talk? One conversation isn't enough. The narcissist wants to sweep it under the rug and be done with it, especially if they were in the wrong. They don't want to be bothered with you or your needs. A narcissist says, leave me alone. And you're thinking, I didn't even know there was a fight. Remember, victim, you are to take it on the chin, be quiet, because they don't want to deal with you. Red flag, victim, how many times have you heard this one? That just wasn't me. The story might go on that the narcissist is screaming, throwing things, slamming the door, really throwing a fit. And since it was so bad this time, they get hauled off to the psychologist's office. The situation is explained and the narcissist says, well, that just wasn't me. And then the psychologist asks, well, who was it? Then this phrase is used by the narcissist in conjunction with them using poor judgment. It could have been where alcohol was misused or sexual improprieties were used, money mismanagement, gross misresponsibility happened. Like the kids were taken by the police because the narcissist didn't want to take care of them properly. And the spouse wants to talk about it. And the narcissist says, wanting to sweep it under the rug, you know, that just wasn't me. They are conveying, I'm good 99% of the time, and this one thing, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Can we just say the good outweighs the bad? It implies you were being far too harsh. And again, it puts it back on you. They will not take responsibility. Are you seeing the pattern here? The narcissist says, I wasn't really angry. I was just feeling a little frustrated, or I was just blowing off a little steam. Example, the family is over at Grandpa's house. The kids are getting on his nerves. He screams and yells and scares the kids and everyone scatters. The daughter says, what is wrong with you? And he replies, I was just getting frustrated with all the noise and commotion. The daughter implies he was wrong. So in these innocent words of just being frustrated makes him come out sounding like he's the victim. Frustration is a form of anger, but he is saying, don't hold me accountable to this. It was just a small, frustrating moment. And again, they do not accept responsibility. It's not what you think. Well, let's say they ran up the credit card bill, or maybe they got caught being with a bunch of friends when they should have been somewhere else. They told you one thing and something else happened. The narcissist will come back and say, it's not what you think. We weren't doing it. I wasn't involved, conveying, I'm innocent of all wrongdoing. What is really being said by the narcissist is, please, 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 don't make me responsible for what I've done wrong. You're making it a bigger deal out of it than what it really was. And how about this phrase? After all I've done for you, it's like the narcissist is caught red-handed. And instead of saying, I was wrong, when the narcissist can't do that. They can't do it. They put it back on you by saying, after all I've done for you, I told your friends all the nice things about you. After all, I got you that really nice gift for your birthday. After all I've done for you, you can't overlook this. They make it known, hey, I'm all about you, baby. A few nice things I've done for you should pacify you. After all I've done for you, you won't let this slide. It's put right back in your lap. They take no responsibility for their actions. How about just relax? You're always in a crisis mode. When you try to talk to them about things that are a great concern to you, it's like, relax. You're making a big deal out of nothing. The victim may reply, but I know what I saw, and it's a great concern to me. The narcissist replies, you are emotionally unsound. You're unstable. And it calls into question any and all things about you. They just put you on the hot spot to get your focus off of them, and the guilty party went from them to you. It says you are a poor judgment, or even you're insane or crazy. Ever been there? Has anyone done that to you? Remember, you can't have an honest discussion with an expert of manipulation who are professionals at being coy and slippery. That is what gaslighting narcissists are, coy and slippery and emotionally absent. You think just once I'd like to pin them down and make them see the light. But understand this, you will never be able to pin them down. Understand what you are dealing with are children of Satan. Many times the narcissist's anger comes out in loud, boisterous remarks of shaming, harshness, abruptness, and rage. Sometimes they suppress, thinking, I'll be the martyr here. That is part of their secrecy. They don't like anyone to know how they feel, but this all means that they can't be exposed. They cannot show true emotion that is tender, compassionate, putting you first and your needs. It all comes out of negative anger, silence, and violence. Remember remember MK Ultra mind control? There's a lot of shame involved, and they don't want you to ever discover it. When that is the answer to all of their inabilities to be happy. They take what happens to them and that made them feel so bad, and they blame you as the one who did it. This problem may go way back in their childhood, but you are getting the brunt of their anger and blame. Other times they go into a passive aggressive mode, which is called the covert narcissist. This type of a narcissist is very dangerous, where they are wielding their control in ways that leave them least vulnerable. Whatever they do in their anger, it is going to be mismanaged. They think in black and white. Like marriage, it's over. No talking. We can't make it. I'm done. This is not working. And in their mind, they cannot see that talking would make any difference. Their mind is so closed because what they will not face are changes that need to take place in their mind, their will, and their nature. And since they're unwilling to look at themselves, that maybe they are not perfect, it is closed matter for them. Why? Well, it's too much work. It's too hurtful. And if I'm wrong, then what? Who will I be if I allow myself to be shattered? What will people think? I'll be exposed. They're so stiff-necked regarding their hurts, and they can't see how they're destroying others. They refuse to see there are ways of victory. Other people usually see the solution to the problem, but the means, the narcissist would be seen in their eyes as being wrong, or that's not allowed. Oh, how that's not allowed. So it is closed, it's a closed matter. They think, I'm not going to deal with this, period. How do they handle looking at things? Mostly with blind eyes. They condemn, or they condemn, or they laugh it off. They swing from one extreme to the other. The things that should be serious aren't, and the things that are really nothing, they make mountains out of it. There's that word again, if. if you come along and say something like, have you ever used your voice in an assertive way? Which does not mean shouting. You stand up and speak into your needs, in a way that everyone can maintain a sense of dignity and respect. Their reaction is the flip of the head and a flat, no, that's stupid. They cannot conceive that another person can hear and understand words without the drama, shouting, or anger. They cannot think like that because they are so committed to their unhealthy forms of anger. They interpret your assertiveness as you being angry when you just want to explain and you don't want to be combative. Committed. What are we supposed to be committed to? As a believer, as a new man, love, tenderness, peace, balance, compassion. But no, that is not the life of a narcissist. In their eyes, that makes them look weak. Yah wants us to see who are the wicked and how they are and how they act. Or 2 Timothy 3:1-7 wouldn't be in the scriptures. They honestly don't care how you feel or how you learn to interpret things. They don't care. How you prioritize things is no concern to them. They don't want to resolve anything. And in turn, it makes matters worse. It kills love in the partner's heart 1 inch at a time. Their center is on themselves, their ego, and their interest. You are just a nuisance to them. Where do you fit in? Well, you're a nuisance unless you are a nobody, their slave, the one that makes them look good. Don't require anything of me, they think. Don't expect them to nurture you. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. It's that low empathy that they carry with them. They expect you to wait on them hand and foot. They expect you to read their minds, and if you fail, they can get into a rage or simply act as if you don't exist. Yep, that's it. You don't exist. I'll ignore you, and maybe you'll go away. The government leaders react this way too. What difference does it make? What does it matter at this point, spoken by Hillary Clinton? And what has been her penalty? Nothing. I'll bite as long as you allow me to bite. That's the way the narcissist thinks. There should be no penalty for treating you as if you have no value. That is what they see in the cold, dark world. That is not to be the believer's world. And when they're being friendly and cooperative, can't be trusted. That behavior to cooperate is as strange as the Twilight Zone. They think if someone is being kind, there's an angle behind it because that's how they think. They think they're being set up for something. Do unto others before they do it to you. It almost makes them a nervous wreck for someone to be kind. And later on, they're thinking, you owe me now attitude. It's their sense of entitlement. You never know what is truly behind the scenes. Narcissists will wear you out. Narcissists will wear out relationships. Don't you feel that in our government? Aren't we all tired of what's going on? The narcissists have a long, steady list of worn out people feeling frustrated. They are very exasperating. And they have a lot of broken relationships and difficulties. Yes, narcissists and narcissistic governments both. It's very important for us to understand what has been mentioned, and frankly, we could add a ton more of information, but simply to say that these are patterns that will unfold with or without you, that reveals to whom you are dealing with. It's not your fault the way they behave. Knowing that you're not their savior, hallelujah, But the narcissist's predictable patterns prove these people are not nearly as unique as they think they are. Let's bring it back to you, and how are you going to respond to them? For this is the spirit of Antichrist. It will take a miracle to want to be healed so badly that they choose to be broken. And since they can't face the pain, it will take to be a new man or woman. Since they are experts at sweeping all things under the rug, their chances to be saved are about zero, nada, zero. No way, won't happen. What to do if you're a spouse of a narcissist? You take charge of yourself. You make the decision you have to make. Establish your boundaries, establish your plans, and follow your intuitions, and let your specifications be known, and live life to what makes sense to you. Love yourself. Hold your ground. Learn to believe in yourself. The whole reason for gaslighting is to get you off balance. If you make good sense, if you have good reasoning, good intuitions, let that be enough. By beholding, we become chains. We do not want the character to rub off on us. These individuals are great manipulators. They can shout you down or ignore you. They manipulate the situation to their favor. This is our government acts like this. This is the spirit of Antichrist. They spend our hard-earned money, put us into debt, and then all of a sudden every person in America owes thousands of dollars in debt that they created. They will always look like the good guy. And they can set the whole place against you, the whole family or the whole country, with their charismatic personalities. Example, you're not a good citizen if you don't wear your mask. And they will win every debate. That is their lifestyle. And if you have empathy, you cannot compete with them. They've been working at this since they were born, and they are experts at shape-shifting. They look good. They appear to be the coolest person on earth. They will sweep you off your feet. And don't think Antichrist won't come acting like this. Our politicians use this on us. The first year of the presidency is called the honeymoon. It does not have to be a romantic situation. It could just be everyone admires them and wants their approval. So at work and at home, in the family, our country, you lose if you come up against them. Persecution is coming. It may be coming my way after I get done with this presentation. The most important thing is this. Whatever they do, have going on in a dysfunctional way, it's not about you. They blame shift all the time. When they reject you and won't deal with issues, it's not about you. It should tell you more about who they are. When they distrust or accuse you of an affair, it's not about you. It should be telling you about their activities, what's going on inside their heart and mind. Remember, they put their sins on you. When they are mean and harsh or in a rage, you might have to duck for cover, but it's not about you. When they have a lack of cooperation, it's not about you. These are broken people. They live a false life. They see themselves as heroes. They see themselves as martyrs. And they see themselves as overworked, the one carrying all the burden as they twiddle their fingers. These people learn early on that they cannot be honest with themselves. They cannot afford to think of themselves as a regular person. So narcissism is a pattern of coping, not a very good pattern of coping, I might add. And they are playing this out with you. And when there is any difficulty, and naturally there will be, a narcissist will say, it's about you. Knowing the predictability of their patterns, I'm hoping that when the predictability is thrown on you and say, you have to change, you can realize and you can say, I'm going to unhook from you. I stop pleading my case. I need to move on. You have a very poorly formed ego. In other words, you don't process reality very well. and I'm not going to get caught in your games. I'm done. I've done my best for you, and it's rejected as if it had no value. So, victim, it's not about you. By now, I hope you know it's not about you. Don't let them take away from you Yahuwah and his instructions for life. This is an eternal matter. Because of their inability to sit down and work things out, bitterness can come in. Accusation can ring in your mind, stealing your peace. These are children of Satan. It's because the narcissist is a pattern of how to do life, and it works for them. And that is why they don't want to change. Their stiff-necked works for them. This is why most narcissists will not be saved. 95% of our pastors are narcissists. So yes, they're spiritual. Probably have their nose in the good book, but they're not humble, meek, or submissive. They may give lip service, and they may have a form of godliness, but they deny the power to change. From such, turn away. What this information does for you is to know it's not about you. It is your ticket of freedom. It is about knowing the ways of Antichrist. This character is evil. Just because the world views it as normal, it is far from the ways of Yahuwah. If you are not broken, teachable, humble, submissive, we are none of his. None. Zero. The door is closed. And those of us who experience this in our lives need to know that we have permission to turn away, guilt-free. What does light have to do with darkness? They don't get it. They don't want to get it. This is what Yeshua wants us to know about the enemy. It allows you to say, I can filter this out without the narcissist belittling me, telling me what to do and think. I get to think, and I can decide who I am going to be. I'm not going to let their dribble dictate what I want to do with my life. I hope you can think like that. Life is too short. Life can be flowers instead of throwing rocks and stones. Do you now see what 2 Timothy 3:1-5 is saying? Know this. Paul says, don't be ignorant of this. Know this also, that in the last day perilous times shall come. Perilous to what? Our soul. Those in our lives who come to destroy our soul. How? Accusation, bitterness. And by the way, accusation, he is a devil. For man shall be lovers of their own selves, not broken, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good, having a form of godliness, but denying the power, to be totally broken for the kingdom of Yahuwah. We all need to be trusting Yahuwah to break us and then make us whole and happy and peaceful. They too have chosen this. All this other stuff is the spirit of Antichrist. From such, turn away. Up to this point, I've studied about 2.5 years about narcissists and that they can't be saved. That's what all of it says, every bit of it that I've read. And this is a narrow road we're on. No one can afford to have these character traits. Our garment will be clean here on this earth, now, before he comes. Eternal choices are being made right now for or against eternity. His bride has nothing to do with all the above. Yah's people are truthful, sweet, loving, kind, patient, long-suffering, trustworthy, joyful, peaceful, and faithful to Yah and to their loved ones, and they will be righteous. I can't see how narcissists can be saved. Me, myself, and I. It's all about them. But that would be denying the power of Yahuwah to save. Study the world of narcissists and learn to put on your full armor of Yahuwah. and guard your heart. I know this was hard to hear,